Hello and welcome to another update video about Solana. So yeah, the Solana chart continues to push higher, obviously with Bitcoin breaking out. Also Solana found its running shoes again, and we have arrived at the previous swing high that was made on the 14th of July. And the next stop, if it continues to push, which it could do because it never broke micro support, would be the ascending trend line here, which is at around $36. And so far, we seem to be dealing with a massively extended fifth wave. Okay, so we have a 1, 2, 3, 4, and a massively extended fifth, which seems to have 5 waves. So we have a very full fifth wave of a wave 1. And what we can do in this video is just to remind ourselves of the next key levels. Which obviously here is 32.40. That's the price that we currently sort of struggle with. If we zoom out a little bit, we can also see that, let me just add the VRVP, that's what I wanted to share with you. Yeah, that on the volume profiles, this is the spot where we have increased volume, which means we have probably some resistance. This is where it typically enters a little bit of choppy price action. We'll see if it just blasts through. It is that kind of market right now. And you can see here that the market has a little bit of difficulty to get through. Previous volume, this is from this area here, yeah. And it's just a bit of a slowdown basically in this region. If we push higher than this, which at the moment is looking like in this kind of environment, we have this ascending trend line to reach at roundabout. It always depends on when we reach it, right? But this could be around 36.50, 36.60 together with those previous swing highs. So I can only tell you the uptrend is of course not broken. The focus can remain on higher, and the focus can remain on higher as long as we are holding micro support. So what you can easily do yourself is just to increase the micro support levels, these fib levels that we are tracking. I'm tracking two. One is measured from the, one is measured from this last swing low to this high, and then from this swing low, which was at $21.20 to this high. So these are the two fib levels I'm tracking because I want to know both. If the first one breaks, though, that would be my indication that some kind of a top is in place. It would also be in line with the previous swing low here that was made at $28.10. I mean, if that breaks, then we likely are entering the wave 2 pullback. Now, we know from the crypto market that when they run quickly, as it did here, and then it will enter weeks and weeks and weeks of correction. It's basically impossible to say how long it will be running. What I can tell you is that the uptrend is still unfolding, okay? So the uptrend is still unfolding. We are focusing on that uptrend as long as the support levels are holding. I would prefer a pullback from here. I already did say that at around $30, but the market alone will decide when it comes. And what we can do, however, is with the help of TA to track the relevant micro support levels that help us to understand when the trend breaks, and when the market does something, then we can react to it. At the moment, the situation is basically unchanged. The uptrend is still very much active. And obviously with Bitcoin pushing, I think, the altcoins will get a little bit more action in the next few days. Depends on if this is breaking down again with Bitcoin. At the moment, it doesn't look like it. I mean, Bitcoin is now at 33.5K, broke above key resistance, made a new 2023 high. That will bring a lot of FOMO capital in, a lot of FOMO money, and some retail traders, investors, just the crowd who haven't done anything, right? And they now will read it in the news. They will understand, oh, Bitcoin is taking off, or I better get some BTC or whatever they want to do. And that generates a lot of FOMO, and that can just drive prices higher than you would initially think. So again, a good example of why you don't want to fight the trend. The trend can only be assumed to break once we break below micro support, okay? So I received questions, how high is it going to go? See, I can't tell you. It has blown through ideal targets, but what I always recommend is when we have an uptrend in crypto, that we don't say, okay, you know, this is the target, I get out. I mean, it might be worth maybe scaling out a little bit, taking profits if you're in a trade. But what is more important is to stay objective and just to watch the levels. And if they break, then we are heading down into probably this wave 2 support area, which I have to adjust now slightly as well, which is between $19.90 and $25.70. But we don't even need to talk about that right now because I have no evidence that a top has been made, okay? Essentially, the first piece of evidence would be a red candle at least. Now, we haven't even got that. So there's no sign of a wave 2 at the moment. What I wanted to take a look at is also the Solana long-term chart. Solana long-term chart, where we're heading. So on the long-term chart, obviously a couple of examples here that we could look at. So it is very much possible, of course, that we go straight to all-time highs. Target 444 to 713 roughly for the next all-time high target. Skeptical about that? Okay, I'm skeptical about that. I mean, we don't want to fight the trend. We are obviously tracking that uptrend and so on. But there is a chance that this is just a high B wave. But this high B wave is likely only going to come into effect once we reach here sort of maybe $60, $70. It is basically a mirror count with yellow wave 3. So we're basically in this third wave now, and this could also be a B wave. If we get a fourth wave after that and the fifth wave, yeah, then we can get to new all-time highs. But what I'm highlighting here is that this could also just be a corrective rally, which will eventually come down to maybe $5 again. Okay, that is still possible. I'm still exploring different options on the Bitcoin chart as well. I mean, we have been bullish. We are bullish on Bitcoin. It's just that this could just be a corrective rally, a larger corrective rally, because the Bitcoin price hasn't given us a very clear bottoming structure. And the situation on the Solana chart is slightly different because here we have a complete bottoming structure, but it's also not impulsive. So it's more of a diagonal pattern correction here that's moving up. Now, again, we will follow it through. At the moment, this question doesn't even come up because at the moment, the trend is up and it should take a little while until we get to this sort of target there. But if we talk about resistances, to give you an idea of where that B wave might land or that wave 3, it's sort of between, I mean, $44 is one key level here that we should pay attention to. It's also the previous swing high, and then 68. But at the moment, the trend is up anyway, and we focus on the trend. And there are different strategies to, you know, even if you have no position, for example, and you want to chase it. I mean, I personally wouldn't do it here, but you can, of course. There are strategies. We talked about them in member live streams. Like you can use moving average crosses. That would not be, you know, necessarily waiting for pullbacks. That's a different method, just a different strategy. I mean, there are so many different ways of trading. I mean, this here is just the analysis, but obviously just want to give you some ideas, stuff that you can look into, like using moving average crosses in a strong uptrend is a great way of still trading a strong uptrend, right? You can always wait for a small pullback, but that ultimately all depends on your own time frame and stuff. What we can only focus here on the videos is sort of that kind of time frame, 4-hour time frame. The hourly doesn't really give us a very clear microstructure at the moment. So all I'm doing here, and I recommend that when we get into crypto rallies anyway, that we just track the bullish support, because if you don't track bullish support but you try to sell too early or whatever, then you will be forced on the sidelines. So in a strong uptrend in crypto, we don't want to get too small with our positions typically. Yeah, that's just sort of generally what you say in Elliott wave, for example, about a third wave. And this is overall a third wave. That's the assumption right here, that you typically in a third wave, you just want to track support. You don't want to, let's say, sell there, get all out of your position, trying to buy back lower. It's typically not the best idea. But yeah, overall uptrend not broken. The next levels have been indicated. So let's see how long the uptrend can be maintained. It will depend to a degree on Bitcoin, absolutely. So let's see, never underestimate the power of FOMO. So yeah, hopefully you liked the update. If you did, please hit the like button, leave a comment and subscribe. And if you really like the content, then please check out the channel membership. Thanks a lot for watching. Bye-bye.